Hi, it's Dave T here, and this is part 2 of my vlogging experiment, and today I'm going to try and get as much stock footage that I create myself for use in vlogs. So, if you saw last week's vlog, then you'll know that this whole series is about experimenting with a style of vlogging to try and work out how best to approach it, various techniques and methodologies to really use the vlogging style, even if you're not vlogging, but just generally to tell a story about anything you might be doing. Now, last week went fairly well, but one of the things that I really could have done with is some more, not so much B-roll, but additional footage just in certain places to link the story together. And it's great to try and get that live when you're doing it, but often either circumstances don't permit, the time isn't allowed, or just plain forget at the time. So what I'm going to focus on today is to try and grab as much stock footage. I've got a plan of different types of footage that I want to get, different shots, which I can just use as stock content and keep, because otherwise it interrupts the workflow process for actually trying to edit the film. If you then have to suddenly stop and kind of go and get a bit of footage, and perhaps the weather's then not right and so on, and it really does slow down the whole workflow process. So I'm going to get a whole load of footage today, edit it into usable segments so that I can then use that in subsequent vlogs going forward. Okay, so let's talk about stock footage. So basically stock footage is any footage that you've got pre-prepared or perhaps pre-purchased, which you can slot into another production or film. Now, there's plenty of places online which will sell stock footage, and this video is not sponsored by any of those, and they are a great resource, especially for things like commercial projects where you may want to get footage which is just too expensive or too difficult to get hold of. Now, for something like a vlog, personally, I wouldn't want to kind of slot in footage which isn't my own, isn't real. However, there are all sorts of times where it's just impractical to get certain bits of footage and certain clips which really help the story flow, but it's just difficult to do it at the time. So the plan is I'm going to get a lot of footage today of the car, just simple things like starting, stopping, stuff like that, so that those can be slotted into places where we're transitioning from location to location. And also either here, I'm actually at Great Norton Explorer Park, by the way. I've driven over here for the day because I wanted some driving footage, and also some of the situations I'm going to want a bit of background which isn't kind of my driveway or house. So I'm going to try and get lots of footage of the car, but also I'm going to either here or later on get footage of the camera equipment, getting bags out and stuff like that. And it's all kind of random, or not really random. It's all easily used little clips of footage which just help progress the story along, and I can use later on in the editing process. So let's get started on shooting the car. So the weather's closing in a bit, so probably just finish up here for another 20 minutes or so and then head back and do the equipment shots. So the main purpose of this whole exercise, as I say, is to get small individual shots which can be strung together in different sequences to really kind of progress the story, to explain how we got from one place to the other. So I've got so far about a dozen or so different shots of the car, so it's all trying to get the shots to be as generic as possible and usually as close and as tight as possible, so that there won't be just too many obvious differences in the actual storyline, because we're going to use these at various times over the years. So I'll finish off up here, and the next thing after this will be to look at how I organise and edit these shots. Okay, so I'm back at my desk now. I'm just waiting for the last few files to copy on, and then what I'm going to do is basically go through all of these files and rename the original source files to names such as car, drive, external, bonnet 2. So that's for a car shot. It's taken from the bonnet view, and it's number 2, because I've got a couple of those different shots. By renaming the original source MP4 files, which is something I normally would not bother doing. Normally they just have the unique IDs straight out of camera. But by renaming them, when I then import them into Adobe Premiere and create a sequence from each of those original source files, the sequence will get the original source file's name. That also then means when I then actually render those out after editing them, it will also use the same name again. So I'm going to crack on. I've got a few hours work probably to go through and rename all those, create a composition and edit them, and then we'll see what we end up with. Okay, so that's most of those done. I can finish off the rest during the week. I hope you found this video useful, and if you have, then please hit that like button. And if you'd like to see more videos I make, then please consider subscribing to my channel. Most of all though, thanks for watching.